Evil, this is evil, evil, also evil, evil, look at Frodo. It's my vague attempt to do the Ringwraith theme from Lord of the Rings. Hello, I'm Jake. Here are my Ringwraiths. Someone asked me how I built them, so I'm doing this video to explain. Thanks Connor for the prompt. So last year I had to build a Lord of the Rings model for a Lord of the Rings themed brick show, and I went through a lot of different ideas because I love those films so much, and I just didn't have the bricks or the time to build all of these different ideas I had. So I kept sorting through different ideas which might actually fit with the time and bricks I had, and eventually I struck upon the idea of doing the Ringwraiths because I had a lot of black bricks, wedge plates, slopes, tiles, you name it. I had a lot of black bricks, so that made a lot of sense. And also because I was short of time, I realised all the Ringwraiths look exactly the same, so if I figured out how to build one Ringwraith, I could just replicate them. Originally, if you know the film, The Fellowship of the Ring, the Ringwraiths menace the hobbits at various points, but one is at the Inn of the Prancing Pony. And at first I was going to build that scene where the Ringwraiths are in the bedroom and you think the hobbits are about to get it from them, but it turns out they're just pillows and the hobbits are somewhere else safe. Didn't really have time or bricks to build a bedroom, and I realised it might be a bit scary for the kids at the brick show. So instead I thought, hey, why not build one extra Ringwraith and do the scene at Weathertop, which is just a few minutes later in the film, where Frodo here can be the sort of centre of the action as opposed to a bunch of pillows. And so that worked out really well. I just had to figure out how to modify one of the Ringwraiths to be striking a evil pose. So let me show you what I've got here. So here is a typical Ringwraith, and he... One video. It's okay. I'll just cut there. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you how they're built. Just one. The others can stay intact. Over here. Up of the way. Just leave Frodo in the corner there. Alright, one Ringwraith. How's he built? Sword. I'll explain the sword later. Alright. Okay, so you've got body, feet, arms and head. I'll do them one by one. Let's take the arms off and start with the head. Here we are here. So the head consists of brackets stuck to a plate. Like so. So here's the plate that it starts off with. Here are all the brackets that form the both sides of the empty head. Pretty straightforward. Empty space for a face, which is greatly simplifies construction. Of course, building faces is really hard. And then, of course, you've got the top of the hood, which is a snot brick here, which is just stuck across the top. It's upside down, so I can use two cheese slopes to form either side of the crest of the hood opening. It's just stuck into the gap, which is too wide. Either side of the face, of course, is the hood. And so what I've used there is some of these long slopes coming down from the top and then some inverse curved slopes here, which come in and start to form the cloak coming in to the join. Then there are some tiles which stick out, and we've got another curved inverse slope here, which forms a second layer of the hood coming down, like so. Oop, like that. Okay, so that's the head. Shoulders, basically bricks. They've got their arms at the sides, so I don't have to make it so their arms come out. There is a Technic hole with a cross, a Technic brick with a cross in for each of the lower arms to come into. The upper arms are just slopes. And there are some plates on the back to kind of give it some shape. Not that these guys are designed to be seen from the back. In fact, I didn't even bother filling in the back. See, there's a giant gap there. The chest is where it switches over to being plates coming down. So basically you've got 3 sets of plates, one for the front and one for each side of the cape. So I'll pop those apart. There we go. So you can see in there, there's a bunch of snot bricks to stick the front to, and brackets as well. And the front is 3 helicopter blades, long ones, and wedge plates either side, again to show the cloak spreading around either side of the Ringwraith's legs, and a 6 by 6 tile to form a nice smooth front. So these bits of cloak which are hanging down don't hit any studs and get snarled up on studs. They just fit nice and smooth against his chest, so there's no trouble there. Then you've got the sides of his long cloak. One side's just like the other. And these are principally constructed from minifigure stands. There's 3 layers of minifigure stands, 1, 2, 3. And there are, let's see, 4 minifigure stands. And then I've got 2 of these other kinds of plates here, because I'm kind of tapering in the sides. You see it starts out being 3 layers thick and goes down to 2 layers thick, again to show the tapering. Other ways of showing the cape tapering in towards their waist is that there is another layer of tile on top of that top layer of minifigure stand, and a brick with a curve, a slope with a curve, inverse curve, again to show the cape flaring out. There is a wedge plate on the back, again to show some flare, because the cape will kind of like curves out from the back. So that shows that, and just a little finishing touch, a 1x4 brick slope, I should say, again just to put a little bit of flare onto the end of the cloak. And finally, there are, oh, no, it's not final, I haven't done the arms or the sword, but anyway, at the bottom of the Ringwraith, there is a 6x6 plate with some snot bricks on it to stick the 3 sides onto, 1, 2, 3. And also a little bit at the back, just to cover that over so the light doesn't show through underneath his feet. And then stuck into the 4x6 plate here, I've built up a 3x5 block which goes into all of the roundels on the bottom there, like so. And that's what the feet are attached to, which is simply a 2x6 by 1 double curved slope. And they just, studs just go into, again, into the center of the plate, not around the edge of the plate, but the holes in the center to get them nicely spaced. Phew, that's top to bottom. Still got the arms, hands and sword. The arms are just a mirror image of each other on these Ringwraiths. We've got basically a whole bunch of slope plates and wedge plates and inverse slope plates. Nothing too complicated there. Another wedge plate on top just to cover over the top of his sleeve, because I wanted there to be a little bit of empty space here. So there is a slot and a space for his hand. Ball joint in there. Hands are pretty much as you'd expect. 1x2 plate with a bar, 3 droid fingers clicked in, one of these weirdo looking plate things. I don't know what they're called. I had a real trouble finding them on Bricklink because I couldn't remember what they're called, like rock police with 3 fingers or something like that, which look like they're scary gauntlets. Of course, if you remember from the film, you don't really see anything of what's under the cape except for their gloves and their boots, which all look all jagged and evil-like. So this was a really good piece to convey that. And then finally, there's one of those barista pieces there, which I've used to mount the thumb there. And that goes onto the 1x2 plate with a ball joint and clicks in nicely underneath there to make a nice hand, which actually works. So it actually holds the sword. There's no studding in or anything like that. That's the sword hilt as those round Technic connectors, and the fingers and thumb just hold it. That seems to do the job. Whew. So that's it. A lightning tour of how to build a Ringwraith. I'll do a couple of close-up photos as well, just in case you missed that. That's basically how it's done. I should also say, Central Ringwraith is different. The Central Ringwraith is actually menacing Frodo, not just standing there looking cool. He's taking a step forward, and he's got his sword out, his arms extended, one holding the Morgul blade. Here, my Morgul blade, and his sword. So those are quite different. Well, they're not that different. It's basically the same, 90% the same. Head, body, legs are all the same, except I've had to build out one of the helicopter blades. Instead of one big long helicopter blade, I've got 2 of them, and used a bunch of plates on one side to basically make the cloak coming forward as he steps. There. And yeah, the arms are quite different. Well, not the lower arms, but the upper arms are completely different to how the other ones are constructed. One is stuck in with a Technic pin on one side and just has a bunch of slopes built around to fill in the gaps. And the other side, we've got our trusty Technic brick with a cross axle hole in it, this comes in sideways because Mr. Ringwraith has got his arm out like that. So anywho, I can do some close-up pics of that. There you have it. Lengthy video, but that's how it's done. Cheers.